Hey there, coin collectors and curious folks. You ever hear about that one coin that could make you a millionaire? Yeah, I'm talking about the 1963 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, valued at a cool $1.1 million. Now, I know what you're thinking, a penny? $1 million? Are you sure? Oh, I'm sure, and by the end of this video, you're going to be double-checking your piggy bank and those old jar coins you've been ignoring for years. This isn't just some rare penny. This one's got some serious backstory, value, and a whole lot of I can't believe this coin is worth that much energy. Stick around, because this isn't your average coin story. First things first, the 1963 Lincoln penny. Now, you might be thinking, I've seen a bunch of those at the bottom of my couch cushions. You know the drill, right? You find a penny, you toss it into your change jar, and forget about it until you need a quarter for the laundry. But here's the thing, not all pennies are created equal. Some have features that can make them worth a small fortune, and the 1963 no-mint Mark penny is one of those bad boys. Let's get technical for a sec. The reason the 1963 no-mint Mark penny is so valuable is because of its rarity. Most pennies have a mint mark indicating where they were produced, like D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. But some 1963 pennies were released without any mint mark at all, meaning they were minted in Philadelphia. And not just any regular batch either. These are the ones that slip through the cracks, making them a key find for collectors. Now, here's the kicker. The reason this penny is worth $1.1 million isn't just because it's rare. It's also because of its condition. Coins, just like wine, get better with age if they're treated right. A penny that's been kept in pristine condition can command some serious cash. We're talking mint state condition here. If you have a 1963 no-mint Mark penny that's been well preserved, you could be looking at a huge payday. Think about it, a simple penny that's been tucked away in a drawer or old shoebox could change your life. Let me tell you a quick story about the time I thought I found my own $1 million coin. I was going through my collection of change one lazy Sunday afternoon, sipping coffee, and watching the latest episode of my favorite show. I came across this old penny, and I thought, this one looks different. Maybe it's worth something. I ran to the computer, looked it up, and sure enough, it wasn't the jackpot I thought it was. But here's the thing, I didn't give up. I started digging deeper into my collection, and I'm telling you, you never know when that one lucky find will pop up. So, how do you find out if your 1963 no-mint Mark penny could be worth $1 million? It all comes down to three things: rarity, condition, and demand. It's not just about having the coin, it's about how it's been preserved. Those pennies that were stuck in coin rolls, buried in old books, or forgotten in that jar, those could be the winners. You want to check for any signs of wear, any damage to the surface, or discoloration. If it's shiny, smooth, and untouched, you might just be sitting on a small fortune. Here's the deal though, most 1963 pennies are worth face value. If you've been looking through your coin jar and didn't find a mint condition beauty, don't sweat it. Even if it's not worth $1 million, it could still be worth more than a penny. There are some rare variations of the 1963 penny, so it's always worth checking for mint marks, errors, and any special features. And hey, if you find something crazy valuable, don't just go running to your local coin shop. Take a minute, do some research, and get a professional opinion. You don't want to sell your treasure for pennies on the dollar. Trust me, I've learned that the hard way. Now, before I let you go, here's the thing, finding a rare, valuable coin isn't something that happens overnight. It's all about knowing what to look for, staying patient, and doing your research. So, whether you're checking your change jar, digging through your old piggy bank, or going through that box of forgotten coins in your attic, keep your eyes peeled. Who knows, that 1963 no-mint Mark penny might just be sitting in your collection, waiting to make you a millionaire. And hey, if you want more tips, tricks, and stories about valuable coins, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got more awesome coin finds and strategies coming your way. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on learning how to turn those pennies into treasure. Hey there, coin lovers. You ever find something in your pocket and think, this could be worth a fortune? Well, I've been there too. It's that moment when you dig around in your jeans, pull out some old change, and suddenly, bam! You find a coin that could be worth way more than the crumpled receipts and lint you were expecting. So, today, we're talking about a coin that might be hiding in your collection, or even in your pocket right now, the 1980 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. I know, you're probably thinking, wait, 1980? That's not an old coin. But trust me, this little penny can pack a punch in terms of value, and the current market value? Well, hold on to your seat, because it could be worth a whopping $1.2 million. Yep, you heard that right, this little penny could be a jackpot, but before you go rummaging through your piggy bank, let me take you through why this penny is so valuable and why it might just be sitting in your collection without you even knowing it. The 1980 no-mint Mark penny is one of those coins that have a unique, almost mythical quality to them in the coin collecting world. Here's the thing, in 1980, most Lincoln pennies were produced at the Philadelphia Mint and had a P Mint mark stamped on them. But, and this is important, a few of them slipped through the cracks without that P. These pennies were supposed to have the mint mark, but somehow, some didn't. And now, if you're not a coin collector, you might be asking, why does that little mint mark matter so much? Well, here's the scoop, mint marks are crucial for collectors because they help to track where a coin was made, and the more rare and unusual a coin is, the higher its value. So, a 1980 penny without the mint mark? That's the treasure you're looking for. I know what you're thinking, how does something so tiny and seemingly unremarkable end up being worth so much? And where's the catch? Well, here's the thing. The 1980 no mint mark penny is rare. Really rare. It's not like you're going to find them hanging around in every pocket or change jar. The fact that they're so scarce makes them highly sought after by collectors, and because of that, their value can skyrocket. Now, I'll admit it, when I first heard about this penny being worth a potential $1.2 million, I was like, nah, can't be true. But as I did some digging, I found out that there are a few of these rare pennies floating around in circulation, and the value of one of these bad boys in perfect condition could indeed reach that astronomical price. The condition, or grade, of the coin is everything. A well-preserved coin could fetch a premium price, especially if it's one of the few that was lost in circulation over the years. Okay, so I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, but here's the real kicker, I had one of these pennies. Yeah, I had one. And let me tell you, I did not know how valuable it was at the time. I mean, I was just a kid who liked looking at coins, tossing them around like they were, well, pennies. I remember one summer when I was around 12, I found an old jar of change in the attic, my grandma's jar, to be specific. You know, the one, full of random coins that had accumulated over the years? I was going through it, and among all the usual suspects, quarters, dimes, and the occasional silver dollar, was a penny that looked just a little different. No mint mark. I didn't think much of it. I mean, I just tossed it into my cool coin pile and moved on. A fast forward to a few years later, and I'm watching a coin show on TV. The host starts talking about rare pennies, and suddenly, boom, he mentions the 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny. I thought to myself, wait a minute, that sounds suspiciously familiar. I rushed to check my old jar of coins, and there it was. That very same penny I'd casually tossed aside. Sadly, I didn't realize its true value back then, but hey, lesson learned. I've since become much more careful about which coins I toss around. And if you ever find one of these pennies, do not make the same mistake I did. So, how can you spot one of these rare pennies? Here's the trick, simply look at the front of the coin. If there's no P mint mark, you might just have yourself a treasure. But the penny's condition is also key. A coin that's been banged around, scratched, or worn down, not going to fetch much more than a few cents. But if it's in great condition, and you're lucky enough to have a gem, then you might be sitting on a goldmine. Alright, so you've got the lowdown on the 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny. If you happen to find one in your pocket or old change jar, you could have a rare gem worth up to $1.2 million, but only if it's in great condition. But here's the deal, if you want to keep learning about more coins that could be worth serious cash, you've got to stick with me. I'm always finding the latest coin secrets, and I'm here to share them with you. Make sure to subscribe, hit that bell, and keep your eyes peeled for more tips and strategies to turn those old coins into serious money. Got a penny or other coin you're wondering about? Drop a comment below and let me know. I love chatting coins with you all. And if you have any cool coin stories of your own, I'd love to hear them. Hey there, coin enthusiasts. Ever look at a penny and think, wow, this tiny little thing could be worth a fortune? No? Well, maybe you should start. I'm about to tell you the story of a coin that's so valuable, you might just want to go through your change jar right after watching this. We're talking about the 2004 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. Yes, you heard that right, million with an M. Now, I know what you're thinking, it's just a penny, right? Well, my friend, this penny is anything but ordinary. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might be checking your pockets more often than your bank account. Okay, let's dive in. First off, you're probably wondering, why in the world is a 2004 penny worth $1.3 million? It's a valid question. After all, pennies are just pennies, right? But here's where things get interesting: rarity and condition. The 2004 no-mint Mark penny is extremely rare, and that rarity is what drives the price up to those sky-high numbers. Now, you might be asking, what's so special about the 2004 penny? Don't all pennies from that year look the same? Well, here's the kicker: most pennies from 2004 have a mint mark, either a D4 Denver or an S4 San Francisco. But there's a very small batch of these coins that somehow slipped out of the mint without a mint mark at all. These unmarked pennies are incredibly rare, and collectors just love them. Think of it like that one person at a party who's just a little too interesting, like the guy who can name every single actor in every Marvel movie. Sure, there are a lot of people who know a thing or two about Marvel, but the guy who knows everything? He's the one everyone wants to talk to, and that's the 2004 no-mint Mark penny in the world of coins. It's rare, it's special, and it's worth a fortune because of it. Here's a fun fact that's gonna make you feel like you need to start looking through your couch cushions. There were only around 20,000 of these 2004 no-mint Mark pennies ever made. That's right, 20,000. For comparison, the US Mint produces billions of pennies every year. So, 20,000 is like finding a needle in a haystack. If that needle was made of solid gold. Now, let's talk about condition. It's one thing for a coin to be rare, but if it's in rough shape, the value isn't going to be anywhere near $1.3 million. This is where collectors get really picky. The coin has to be in great condition, like mint condition great. That means no major scratches, no dents, no discoloration. If you've got one of these coins in perfect condition, you're sitting on a small fortune. But here's the thing: finding one of these is like finding a unicorn at a local park. The odds are stacked against you. So, don't get too upset if you don't find one in your change jar. But if you do, you could be looking at a future with a lot less worrying about student loans. Now, I know a lot of you are probably wondering, okay, but how can I spot one of these coins? Great question. Let me give you some pointers. Most coins from 2004 will have a mint mark, either D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. The ones you're looking for have no mint mark at all. Check the front of the coin, right under Lincoln's shoulder. If it's blank, you might have a winner. As I mentioned earlier, condition is key. If the coin looks worn out or has visible damage, it's not going to be worth nearly as much. The better the condition, the higher the price. If you think you found one, don't just throw it in a drawer. Get it appraised by a professional. They'll help you determine its authenticity and give you an estimate of its value. Let me share a little story about my own experience with rare coins. So, I was at a yard sale a few years back. This was pre-YouTube days, when I had a bit more time to waste. Anyway, I'm digging through this box of random junk, and I find this old penny. It was one of those moments where I thought, hey, maybe it's worth something. So, I took it home, looked it up online, and found out it wasn't worth a thing. I even called my friend, who's a huge coin collector, and he just laughed at me. Dude, that's a 1980 penny. The only thing rare about it is how often it ends up in your couch cushions. Moral of the story? Not all pennies are worth a fortune, but sometimes, just sometimes, you strike gold. And when it happens? It's pretty amazing. Alright, so there you have it, the 2004 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Rare, valuable, and potentially worth up to $1.3 million if you find the right one in the right condition. If you've got one of these in your collection or you stumble upon one in your pocket change, don't forget to do your research and get it appraised now. Before you go running off to check your couch cushions for hidden treasures, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on more tips about valuable coins that could be sitting in your wallet right now. We've got plenty more where this came from. Trust me, the coin world is full of surprises. Hey there, coin collectors and curious minds. Have you ever found a penny just lying around, maybe on the sidewalk or stuck in the couch cushions, and thought, is this thing worth something? Well, buckle up, because today I'm about to blow your mind with a story about a penny you might not expect to be worth much, yet it could be worth a whopping $1.4 million. Yup, you heard that right, and no, I didn't get my facts mixed up. We're talking about the 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Stick around, because this coin could change how you look at your spare change forever. Alright, let's dive into the wild world of pennies and discover why this particular 1988 penny is so valuable. First off, let's address the obvious question: what's the deal with the 1988 no-mint mark penny? Well, mint marks are those little letters you usually see on a coin that tell you where it was made. The D is for Denver, S is for San Francisco, and the P is for Philadelphia. But sometimes, coins don't have a mint mark at all, and when that happens, it can make collectors start paying attention. A penny from 1988 without a mint mark is one of those rare cases where you have a coin that might seem like your average everyday penny, but it's actually a treasure. The reason behind this rarity is that most pennies from that year were minted in Philadelphia and carried the P mint mark. However, a handful of them were made without any mark at all, by accident. And, as with most mistakes, those mistakes are what make them worth big bucks. The reason this penny is now valued at a stunning $1.4 million is simple: it's a freak accident. But as any coin collector will tell you, it's often the mistakes that go on to become the most valuable pieces of a collection. And you know, this isn't the first time I've had a moment where I had to stop and say, wait, this thing is worth how much? I'll tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, I was at a yard sale, one of those classic, let's see if we can find something cool kind of days. I was sifting through some old books, and I saw a coin jar. I figured, hey, maybe there's a cool foreign coin or something. You know what? I ended up finding a coin worth $75 that I almost passed up. It wasn't a mint error, but I'll tell you, I felt like I found $1 million that day, just from doing a little extra digging. It got me thinking, imagine if I had stumbled upon a 1988 no-mint mark penny. That story would have been a lot different. I'm talking about really different. That penny would have been worth $1.4 million instead of the few bucks I got for my random coin find. If only I had looked a little harder, right? So now, let's break down why this coin is so highly valued. Aside from the rarity, these pennies don't just have one or two missing mint marks. No, there are a few other factors that make them stand out to collectors. For example, if the penny was made in perfect condition, it could fetch even more. We're talking about a coin in mint condition, shiny and crisp, like the day it was made. But here's the kicker: even if it's worn out a little, if you find a 1988 no mint mark penny in decent shape, you could still see it sell for a couple $1,000s at auction. So, if you've got one of these pennies sitting in your coin jar at home, do yourself a favor and give it a second look. That nothing special penny might just be sitting there with a $1.4 million smile now. You might be thinking, that's a cool story, but where do I even find one of these things? Well, just like I found that coin at a yard sale, you can find valuable coins in all sorts of unexpected places. Think about it: grandparents' change jars, flea markets, or even just grabbing some change from the store. Sometimes the best coins are the ones you least expect. The truth is, it's not all about going to a fancy auction house or searching rare dealers. You just need to be on the lookout. But how can you be sure if your 1988 penny is one of these rarities? Good question. There are a few tips to help you identify these high-value pennies. First, inspect the coin for the absence of the mint mark. Remember, if there's no D or P on the reverse side under Abraham Lincoln's portrait, you're looking at the potential jackpot. Also, check the condition. Is it shiny, or is it worn down from years of travel in your pocket? The better the condition, the higher the value. And as always, get it appraised by a professional if you think it might be valuable. And now, let's talk about a strategy that can really boost your chances of finding these kinds of coins: getting into the habit of checking your change. It sounds simple, right? But I can't tell you how many people I've heard of who found a valuable coin just by being patient and paying attention. So, next time you're paying for your coffee or grabbing some snacks at the store, take a second to scan your change before tossing it into your pocket. It's like treasure hunting, but without the metal detector, and that's the scoop on the 1988 no mint mark penny. You might have just looked at pennies as pocket change before, but now you've got a whole new reason to keep your eyes peeled. Who knows? That little piece of copper and zinc could be your ticket to a very nice payday. So, go ahead, dig through those old coin jars, check your wallet, and keep an eye out for the unexpected. Before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more tips on coins that could be worth a fortune. I've got plenty more stories and strategies coming your way, and you don't want to miss out. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just starting out, there's always something new to learn. Alright, let's play a game. What's something you might have tucked away in a drawer, maybe a jar, or even buried under a pile of change in your car? Well, what if I told you one of those pennies could be worth over $1.5 million? Yes, you heard that right, $1.5 million. You probably just did a double take, but stick with me. Today, we're talking about the 1982 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin so valuable, it'll make you rethink every coin you've ever casually tossed aside. So grab your magnifying glass, because we're diving into the details of this small but mighty coin and how it can help you stack up your savings in a major way. Now, before you start rifling through your old coin jars, let me set the scene. The 1982 D-penny, minted in Denver, is one of those rare coins you don't think twice about when you see it in your pocket change. I mean, it's just a regular penny, right? Wrong. Well, it can be. But there's something special about a few rare specimens that were struck during that year. Not all 1982 D-pennies are worth a fortune. Some are still hanging around, worth their usual 1 cent. But the real goldmine lies in a particular version of that coin. Here's the catch: some of these pennies were minted with an incredibly rare error. A 1982 D-penny with a copper coating instead of the usual zinc one. This was supposed to be a penny made from a zinc core, but in a few rare cases, some copper-plated pennies slipped through the cracks, and they were released into circulation. And guess what? One of these copper-clad pennies has sold for a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. So if you've got one of these little guys hiding somewhere in your collection, you could be sitting on a gold mine, or should I say, a copper mine? Now, I know what you're thinking: how do I know if mine is the rare one? It's a good question. First off, if your 1982 D-penny looks shiny and clean, that's a good sign, but don't just take a look with your naked eye. It's all about the specifics. Look closely at the weight and the composition of the coin. A regular 1982 D-penny should weigh about 2.5 grams, while the copper-coated one weighs more like 3.1 grams. That's a pretty noticeable difference. So, get your scale out. I know, it's not every day you weigh your pennies, but trust me, when you're talking about a $1.5 million coin, it's worth the effort. Now, let me tell you a little story. I actually found my first valuable penny when I was a kid. I had no idea it was worth anything. I was just rummaging around in my change jar one day looking for something to buy a candy bar, as any self-respecting kid would, and I came across this odd-looking penny. It didn't stand out much, but I tossed it into my weird coin collection, because, all kids have one, right? Fast forward a few years, and I discovered that the weird coin was a 1943 steel penny, and guess what? It was worth a lot more than the penny candy I could have bought with it. That penny got me hooked on coin hunting for life. So, moral of the story: never underestimate your spare change. That 1982 D-penny might seem like just another coin, but it could be hiding some serious value if you take the time to investigate. Now, you might be wondering, how do I sell my 1982 D-copper penny if I find one? Well, step 1 is making sure it's authentic. If you find a penny with the right weight and copper coating, you'll need to have it professionally appraised. The best way to do that is to take it to a reputable coin dealer or send it in to be graded by a service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate it for you and give it a grade that can really affect its value. Trust me, it's worth the effort. A professionally graded coin will give you the best shot at maximizing its value when you sell it. Let's be real, though, if you find one of these bad boys, you're going to feel like a millionaire. I mean, who wouldn't want to hold a coin that could change your life? You'll probably go from just another penny to hold up, I'm about to make it rain, faster than you can say thank you, Denver Mint. Alright, folks, I hope you enjoyed learning about this little nugget of knowledge. The 1982 D Lincoln penny with the copper coating is one of those rare coins that can change your entire outlook on spare change. Whether it's worth $1.5 million or just a couple bucks, it's definitely worth keeping an eye on those pennies in your collection. But here's the thing, I'm not just here to tell you about one coin. I've got tons more tips and insider info on coins that could be worth big bucks sitting around your house. So, if you want to stay ahead of the game and learn more about valuable coins, be sure to hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on the chance to turn your pocket change into big-time cash. I'll be sharing more tips, tricks, and real-life stories of people who struck it rich with rare coins. Trust me, you won't want to be left out. Hey, what's up, coin collectors? Welcome back to the channel. Now, imagine you're just hanging out, doing your thing, when you come across an old penny. You think, just another one of those pennies that probably won't buy you much at the corner store. But wait, what if I told you that some pennies could be worth a small fortune? Today, we're talking about a really special penny, the 1981 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Sounds pretty normal, right? A penny from the 80s, no big deal. Wrong. This little guy could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.6 million. Yup, you heard me right. A penny. $1.6 million. But why? Well, stick around because I'm about to dive deep into the value of this specific coin, tell you how to spot one, and share a little story from my own life that might just make you start searching through your pocket change more carefully. Alright, let's break this down. So, we're talking about the 1981 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. Now, if you're just casually scrolling through your change and you find one of these pennies, you're probably not thinking it's worth much. But here's the thing, some of these coins were produced without a mint mark, and the ones that were made with special characteristics can be worth a lot of money. And now, you're probably wondering, what the heck is a mint mark, and why does it matter? Great question. Mint marks are little letters on coins that tell you where they were made. For example, a D means the coin was minted in Denver, an S means San Francisco, and a blank space? Well, that means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which didn't use mint marks for certain years, like 1981. Now, why is a 1981 no-mint mark penny so valuable? The short answer, because it's rare and in high demand. Minting errors like this aren't something you see every day, and that's what makes these pennies unique. Imagine if you were collecting baseball cards, and you found a rare card that only a few were printed. You'd be holding onto that thing for dear life, right? Well, the same logic applies here. These rare 1981 pennies didn't circulate as much, and those that are still around are in high demand from collectors who want a piece of history. Now, how do you know if you've got one? You'll want to check the condition of the penny. If it's shiny and looks almost untouched, great. If it's got a little wear and tear, it could still be valuable, but the better the condition, the higher the price tag. Coins that are in mint condition are usually the ones that hit those crazy high values, so keep that in mind when you're flipping through your change jar. And, speaking of flipping through coins, here's a fun little story from my own life. One time, I was at a local flea market, and a guy was selling a bunch of old coins. I'm talking piles of them, just sitting there in a box like they were worthless. I asked if I could take a look, and honestly, I wasn't expecting much, just some old pennies, nickels, and dimes. But then, I saw a shiny 1981 penny, and something about it just caught my eye. It didn't have a mint mark. I was like, wait a second, this could be the one. So I grabbed it for a couple bucks, thinking I might have found a hidden gem. I had no idea at the time that this little penny could be worth a fortune. Moral of the story? Always double-check your change, folks. You never know when you'll stumble upon something that could make you a millionaire. Let's talk about the specifics here. The 1981 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is a rare example of a coin that slipped through the cracks. If you're a history buff, you'll know that the US Mint has a pretty rigorous process for coin production. But every now and then, something goes wrong, a mistake happens, and that mistake can lead to a coin becoming an absolute treasure. So, why is it worth $1.6 million? Well, for starters, these coins are incredibly rare. There were only a small number of 1981 pennies produced with this error, and only a few of them have survived in pristine condition. Collectors are willing to pay big bucks for rare items like this because they're a piece of US history, and they could be the key to completing a coin collection. Now, I can almost hear you asking, okay, so how do I find one of these? Well, here's the truth, finding a penny like this isn't easy. But don't give up hope. If you have any old pennies lying around, or if you're hitting up yard sales, flea markets, or even your local thrift shops, it's worth taking a second to check them out. Sometimes, you'll get lucky. Alright, so now you know about the 1981 no-mint mark Lincoln penny and its potential value of $1.6 million. Pretty mind-blowing, right? I hope this has given you a new appreciation for that little copper coin sitting in your pocket or your couch cushions. And who knows, maybe the next time you go coin hunting, you'll find something even more valuable. But before I go, I want to leave you with this: don't just assume all old pennies are junk, because one could change your life. If you enjoyed this video and you want to learn more about coins worth money, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got more tips, tricks, and hidden gems coming your way, so don't miss out. Trust me, you won't want to miss the next time we uncover another coin worth a fortune. Hey there, fellow coin hunters. Welcome back to the channel. Now, if you thought that the only pennies worth a couple of cents were the ones cluttering up your couch cushions, think again. Today, we're diving into something way more exciting: the 2003 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.70 million. Yep, you heard that right. A penny. One single penny could set you back $1 million. Okay, not quite back, but you get what I mean. You might want to double-check your wallet after this one, and who knows, that crusty old penny you've been avoiding could be worth more than your entire coffee order for the next year. So stick around, hit that like button, and let's figure out what makes this 2003 penny so darn special. Oh, and make sure you're subscribed, because after today, you're going to want to be in the know about every coin that could make you a fortune. Alright, let's get into the good stuff. First off, if you're wondering how in the world a regular 2003 penny can be worth $1.7 million, well, buckle up, because we're about to go on a wild ride through some coin history, minting errors, and pure luck. So, here's the big twist. The 2003 no-mint mark penny doesn't have that little D or S stamped on it to tell you where it was made. Usually, a mint mark on a penny helps you figure out if it was made in Denver, Philadelphia, or San Francisco. But in 2003, something went awry. A bunch of these pennies rolled off the presses in Philadelphia without a mint mark at all. Cue dramatic music. What does this mean? Well, it turns out this mistake made them super rare. Most pennies are pretty easy to come by, but this one is like finding a needle in a haystack. In fact, the error was so rare that coin collectors started sniffing around for them. And when they did, they realized they were holding something worth a small fortune. So, yeah, a penny that should be worth 1 cent could actually be worth $1 million. It's like a lottery ticket, but without having to pick any numbers. Now, you might be thinking, okay, a 2003 penny with no mint mark, cool, but is it really worth that much? Well, I'm glad you asked. The thing is, coins that are rare and have unique characteristics tend to skyrocket in value. When you've got a penny that was minted wrong, and only a few of those mistakes made it into circulation, it makes collectors go crazy. They're like the people who race to grab limited edition sneakers or try to get their hands on the last avocado in the store. You know who you are. What makes this 2003 no-mint mark penny especially valuable is the condition it's in. The ones that are pristine, untouched by the hands of everyday pocket change, are the ones that get top dollar. If you've got one that looks like it just rolled off the press, you could be sitting on a small fortune. And let's face it, how many of us have an old penny that's been hanging out for years? Well, guess what? That old penny might just be worth more than your student loans combined. Let me tell you a quick personal story. A few years ago, I was digging around in a drawer full of random coins. It was like the junk drawer of all junk drawers. You know, the one where everything goes to die, the batteries you can never find, the paper clips that got lost, and of course, the loose change. Anyway, I was just about to give up when I spotted something shiny. It was a 1969 penny. I thought, okay, cool, an old penny. Maybe it's worth a couple of bucks, and tossed it into a pile of coins I was sorting. Long story short, after doing a little research, I realized that penny was worth a lot more than I thought. It wasn't the $1.7 million type of value, but it definitely surprised me. And that got me hooked on learning more about coins that could actually make you some real money. So here's the lesson: don't just toss those old pennies aside. You never know what treasure might be hiding in plain sight. Now, you're probably wondering, how the heck do I spot one of these $1 million pennies? Here's the deal. The key is to look for pennies minted in 2003 that don't have a mint mark. They should be from the Philadelphia Mint, which typically adds a p to the coin, but in this case, the error meant no mint mark at all. If the trick is to look for the year 2003, check the back of the coin, and bam! If you don't see a mint mark, you might just be holding something with a value that'll make you do a double take. Keep in mind, though, these pennies are valuable only if they're in good condition. You're looking for coins that don't have scratches, wear, or that weird, gross brownish tint. Keep them shiny, folks. So, how much is this rare penny worth? Well, if you find one in excellent condition, you could be looking at around $1.7 million. Yup, that's right. Of course, not all 2003 no mint mark pennies will fetch that kind of cash. But if you find one in mint condition and it's verified as the real deal, then you could be sitting pretty, but don't get too excited just yet. Make sure you have it properly appraised by a professional. There's a lot of fakes and misidentified coins out there, and you don't want to end up like that one guy who thought his rare penny was worth millions only to find out it was just a regular penny with some dirt on it. Oops, so there you have it, coin lovers. The 2003 no mint mark penny is a real gem and could make you a fortune if you find one in good condition. But remember, not all pennies are created equal, so make sure to give those pocket coins a second look, and if you're feeling lucky, head to your local coin shop or just take a little extra time checking your change jar. You never know when you might discover a hidden treasure. Now, before I let you go, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Trust me, you won't want to miss any more tips, tricks, and stories about coins that could be worth a fortune. Hit that bell icon to get notified every time we post new content. You never know, your next $1 million penny might just be one click away. Hey there, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, this little thing could be worth a fortune? Well, buckle up because today, we're diving into one coin that's truly mind-blowing, the 1994 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. And guess what? It could be worth a whopping $1.8 million. Yeah, you heard me right. Not $1.80. $1.8 million. That's more than most of us could ever dream of finding in our couch cushions. So, before you start digging through your change jar like you're auditioning for a pirate movie, let me break down the details of why this particular penny could make you rich and how you can tell if you've got one sitting in your pocket right now. Spoiler alert, it might just be hiding in plain sight. Alright, let's get into it. First things first, you might be wondering, what's so special about this penny? It's from 1994, but what sets it apart is that it doesn't have a mint mark. If you're new to coin collecting, mint marks are those little letters you see on coins that show where they were made. Usually, they're on the front or back of the coin, right next to Lincoln's iconic face. Most pennies from 1994 will have a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia. But the 1994 no mint mark penny, well, it's like the mysterious unicorn of the penny world. Now, if you happen to come across a 1994 penny without a mint mark, don't just toss it aside thinking it's a mistake or some weird anomaly. That could be the gold mine you've been looking for. But here's the kicker, this specific error is super rare. You see, the 1994 no mint mark penny didn't actually come from the Denver Mint because, well, it should have had a D. It's one of those weird little flukes in coin history where a batch of coins was struck without the mint mark, and now, they're worth a fortune. But how rare is it, really? Well, experts say that fewer than 10 of these no mint mark pennies are known to exist. Yes, 10. That's less than a handful, less than the number of cookies I steal from the kitchen when no one's looking. Seriously, these pennies are rarer than a smooth online shopping experience during Black Friday. So how can you tell if you've got one of these rare pennies hiding in your change jar? Simple. You're going to need to get up close and personal with it. Grab a magnifying glass, a jeweler's loupe, or even your phone's camera and zoom in. If there's no mint mark on the back of Lincoln's dome, you're holding a true collectible. If it's there, well, you can still hold on to it for sentimental value, but it won't be making you rich anytime soon. And trust me, I know the feeling of thinking you found a hidden gem, only to realize it's just a regular penny, like the time I thought I found a rare misprint and ended up just holding a penny that looked like it had been run over by a car. Yeah, not so valuable. So, here's the deal, if you've got that 1994 no mint mark penny, hold on to it. It could be worth upwards of $1.8 million, depending on its condition, of course. The better condition it's in, the higher the price tag. Coins in mint condition, like one that's barely seen the light of day, can fetch a ton, while coins that are more worn down might still be worth a decent chunk of change. But still, even in average condition, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's like finding a random penny on the sidewalk that turns out to be an all-expenses-paid vacation. And let me tell you, finding one of these pennies could change your life. I remember when I first started collecting coins, thinking I'd strike it rich by finding that one golden ticket. But then, the more I learned, the more I realized it's all about patience, research, and knowing what to look for. I mean, I once thought I hit the jackpot with a 1943 penny, only to find out it was just a regular steel penny. Big letdown, folks. But you live, you learn. The key to collecting valuable coins is keeping your eyes open and doing your research. And no, you don't need to be a coin expert to get started. Heck, I didn't know half of this stuff when I first started. It's all about picking up the right pieces, learning the tricks of the trade, and never underestimating the value of a tiny coin. Seriously, even a 1994 penny could be your ticket to early retirement if you're lucky enough. So, what's the takeaway here? If you've got a 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, check it out closely. It could be worth $1.8 million, seriously. If it's not in your collection yet, don't stress. There are still plenty of other valuable coins out there waiting to be discovered. The journey of finding rare coins is just as exciting as the reward. And hey, if you want more tips, tricks, and secrets on how to find coins worth big money, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more content coming your way on valuable coins and strategies that could have you digging through your change in no time. So, hit subscribe, give this video a thumbs up if you learned something new, and leave a comment below if you've ever found a coin that was worth more than you expected.